destruction of the realm. Call on our savior to wipe out the traitors. The earth trembles as we gather ashore for the lands we swear to hold. For our kingdom
I was gonna say past that, it's
And
like past that, it's
we
garbage.
are live.
Oh, hello.
Who are you people?
Oh, you guys are not garbage.
I don't know. I am pretty garbage.
I'm
Some
horrible.
days I'm garbage too.
I am a resident trash mammal.
I love
mammal.
trash.
My spirit animal is either a possum or a raccoon. Possibly a crossbreed of both.
Funny thing, a friend of
Insane.
mine down in Eugene, she for the longest time had a stray possum that like just chilled out in her garage.
What a nice possum.
HB Fox, thank you for that resub. I mean, if you raise them from babies, they are like the sweetest things.
It just knew where the food was.
Yeah, they're pretty much like they're cats but marsupial.
Meow, motherfucker.
They don't knock your shit over.
Right up there with foxes or dogs running on cat software.
Yeah, pretty much. They got the wrong software upgrade.
Dear God.
Their dogs running Linux. Oh. So how is everyone today?
I have coffee and chocolate.
So good.
I was good until I realized why the bot isn't working.
Why is
Oh
the
God,
bot not
why is
working?
the bot not working?
Because they updated the bot and they didn't push a notification to let people know that they updated the bot.
Oh.
And the new bot update completely reworks the OAuth key integration.
Oh no.
So that's fun. We may have a working bot by the end of stream if I can do this during the breaks.
It worked. Well, the notifications popped up anyway. That's the first time.
Yeah, that's Streamlabs. They got their shit together.
Like I haven't seen a pop up in a while, like pop up onto the stream. I think this is the first time I actually have seen a pop up. Like
well, that's good.
Normally when I see the raid notifications, it's because I either see it in the activity feed that I have on my monitor or I see it in chat. I haven't seen like raid notifications like honestly pop up on screen for a while now.
Well, I'm glad that's working now because that was a little bit frustrating because when that was broken, there was nothing we could do about it because that's all Streamlabs.
Mm-hmm.
They handle it on their end. We have no choice as to whether or not it works.
Like I know like when it doesn't work on my stream, I have to delete the URL and generate a brand new one in order for it to like refresh itself.
Shame.
Which easy-ish enough to do
Just
when
annoying.
it's just one person.
But it's just so annoying when you have multiple pop-ups.
When we have multiple broadcasters on this channel, when we refresh that link, we have to make sure everybody has it.
Like I need it. Zorro needs it. You need it. Azarin needs it. But thankfully, things are working right now. Kind of.
Except for the bot.
Except for the bot, but you know, bot's on vacation.
That bot.
Zorro and Shadow Fox are out today, but we still got enough people to continue this madness on, so here we are. Dum dum dum.
Yes, I am dumb.
Not a lot happened last week. You got back into town, back into Madtown, and were met with a couple Inquisition guards. The Inquisition having arrived only that day and have begun setting up sort of a perimeter around the town due to the appearance of this black tower. Thankfully, due to Alistair being a rather known figure to members of the Inquisition, you were able to get back into town without any inspections or questions being asked of you. So a bit of paranoia started setting in on Mia's part, as Mia, being who and what she is, decided to take Kemek and what is her name?
Chantra.
I was about to call her something else, and it was a I'm like, no, that's a World of Warcraft dungeon. But the three of you broke into the previous quote unquote haunted house that you had investigated, where you had run into the carionettes and the plot in order to begin replacing people with living dolls. So inside you didn't find any sort of murderous dolls or remnants of black magic anywhere. See, it did look like a lot of things had been removed from the house, probably from the guild coming in and doing a sweep over once you reported back to Den Mother. But you started to find more of your companions arriving at this house. Not Azure Claw, I'm sorry. Alistair going back to get Kunkaval and Yuriko, as they had split off from the group. Kunkaval going back to his room at the inn, and Yuriko going to the hookah den. Though, upon going back to the inn, Alistair saw that the door to his suite was open, just a crack. Throwing caution to the wind, he decided that, it would be okay to investigate on his own. And thankfully enough, Alistair, you were met with a friendly face, as a very well-dressed, familiar blue tiefling is sitting at your table, telling you to shut the door as you have much to discuss. And that is where we are going to pick up today. So I take it you got into town with little issue?
Yeah, no issues.
Good. Less questions the Inquisition is asking about those friends of yours, the better. I don't think too much trouble would be caused since Lisa's here, but you never know. Some upstart Inquisitor may want to be looking for a promotion. A couple of your friends are prime candidates to secure that seat for them.
Pretty much. They're always very snotty when it comes to those promotions.
Carrying a high promotion as an Inquisitor is, a very large leap in society. You know that.
Yeah.
But we've got bigger issues than upstarts. That tower has moved the clock forward drastically. We're already getting reports from people on the inside that Bright Scale is already beginning to bolster the church on the backs of people's fears. Rumors spreading about town about this dark tower and the evil things pouring out of it. Some of them true, most of them lies. They've also started more aggressively recruiting ASMRs into the order. Normally, as you know, if a child is born in ASMR, the parents are given the option of allowing the child to join the church, as they are seen as a blessing from Lathander. But it's now they do not have a choice. Small bands of church officials are going from town to town, grabbing up ASMRs, men, women, children, and beginning to ship them back to Morning Glory, claiming that they now serve a greater purpose with this Black Tower's arrival. This means we can't delay anymore. We need to bring you and this group of yours into the fold.
Is the church that scared?
I don't know if he's being scared or if he's just taking this opportunity to push his plans forward more aggressively. But I can't. He kind of looks around. I can't give you the full details here. We're going to have to wait until we're back underground.
All right. Well, I was going to go grab up my group and we're going to talk about the tower because I can't speak for all of them.
Speak for all of them. What do you mean?
Inquisitor asked for my help with the tower, and of course I said sure. But I can't speak for everyone else because I don't know if they want to do this or not.
So that's what they were ordered here for.
Mm-hmm.
He's just going to throw them directly at the tower. Poor bastards.
You got a better plan?
For us anyway. Where's the rest of the group?
Half of them are in a abandoned house, and I'm trying to find a gecko.
That one I know is in his room. I saw him go in.
All right. And I'm trying to find another one that seems to likes to hide in the shadows. Yuriko.
I'll see what I can do. Let me worry about Yuriko. You get a little gecko and make your way back to the house. I will meet you all there shortly.
Very well.
And Alistair,
Yeah.
don't speak a word of this to anyone.
Speak a word of what?
Exactly. He gets up and he takes his hat and he puts it back on his head and straightens up his jacket and begins walking out of the room.
All right, I'm gonna go find Mr. Flap Flap and tell him to get his ass to the house.
Okay. And since he's not here, I'm going to say that you do find Mr. Flap Flap in his room, and it takes a little bit, but you do convince him to go with you back towards the abandoned house.
Okay.
Yuriko.
Yes.
You've just found a nice seat in the hookah lounge. The hookah being filled up with a flavor that you have just recently ordered. And as you're leaning back and taking a few hits off of it, one of the attendants there walks over to you. Excuse me, miss.
Yes.
I'm sorry to trouble you. A gentleman stopped by and asked me to give you this. She hands you just a small folded piece of paper.
Thank you. I give is it like one of the regular like attendants?
Yeah,
there?
it's one of the regular attendants there.
I give him a silver piece.
Okay.
And then read the letter when they're sufficiently away. Or note or whatever it is.
and it's a letter addressed to you, and it just says it is of grave importance that you meet us at the abandoned house. Your life depends on it. And then it's signed Mia.
Like she's the only one that knows I fine. Damn it, just like she takes like just a big like hard hit off the hookah. And then she just like, starts walking out, snorting out of her nose, like in a huff. She's just like in her mind thinking like, I swear, like if my life is not in imminent doom, she and I are gonna have a talk. She'll like she will aggressively, actually, would she? Because there's the stupid Inquisition.
No one suspects the Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah, I mean, she'll try to avoid any patrols she sees, but she makes her way to that side of town.
Okay. It's not too hard for you to avoid. They've got a couple guards walking along the street, and those that do see you don't really pay you any mind. They kind of give you like a friendly wave or a respectful nod. Nothing too suspicious or aggressive. Most of the Inquisition Knights look rather young, rather bored that they're on patrol in a town.
Cool. Let's see, do I know there's a back door?
I believe you would. I believe you do know that there's a back door to the house.
I'm trying to remember so she'll go to the back door because it's probably like down an alley, and then she'll just turn the knob like, gently just to see if it opens.
Okay. So by the time you reach the back door, you almost collide right into Alistair and Kunkaval. As the three of you are now at the back door. Trying the door handle, it's locked. Mia, have you moved from that spot in the house after the candles were lit, or are you still right next to the door?
I probably moved around a little bit, but stayed fairly close to the door, knowing that the rest of my companions are going to be showing up at some point.
Okay, so you would hear that the doorknob sort of jingling around as somebody's trying to open it.
And I would do the same thing that I did when Nolani showed up. I'd go up to the window and peek out to just confirm who it is before opening the door.
And you see four individuals. You see Alistair, Kunkaval, and Yuriko, and standing behind them is a rather finely dressed blue tiefling with what could only be described as a fedora.
Do I notice the tiefling when I run into Alistair?
You do not.
Okay, so the tiefling's behind me and I don't know he's there.
Yeah.
All right. I'm okay with that.
Smug asshole.
I don't think I would have any reason to, but do I recognize the tiefling?
You do not. Anybody who had interaction with Blue when you were having like your mind threaded, you sort of forgot about that.
Okay. So I am going to go up to the door and kind of put my hand on the doorknob, ready to cast that bloodbound spell of mine on it to make the lock super strong if I need to. I'm not casting it yet. I'm just having it ready. And then I'll call out to the other side of the door. Who is it?
Alistair, Kunkaval, Eureka.
Who's
Sent
the
me
other
in-
one?
Other one.
What other one? Like if Yuriko turns around, she sees like the tiefling there. She's gonna pull like a chakram to like
Enough with the dramatics. I'm a friend
not of mine.
of Alistair's.
Alistair.
We're work associates.
How long you been standing there?
I just arrived here shortly after Yuriko did.
Oh, okay.
Alistair, can you vouch for this man?
Yeah.
All right then. Get in here quickly, and I'll open the door.
Yuriko doesn't put her chakram away till she's inside the house.
He's and Blue steps in and looks around. Good, they did away with everything they needed to. I was worried one of those little bastard toys was still around here.
Place seems empty. You know about the dolls?
Oh, I know of a great many things. But yes, the dolls are one of them.
You said you're work associates with Alistair. Are you with the church then?
Oh, goodness, no. I'm on, I guess I would say, the opposite side of the church, or church adjacent.
And what sort of work do you do with Alistair exactly?
I guess I would technically be Alistair's handler.
Handler.
Mhm.
Lord Alistair, are you playing both sides?
He just drinks from his little thing. Ain't saying a damn word. He's just being stern, just drinking.
I see. Well, not to be rude or abrupt in any way, but what are you doing here exactly?
Well, I guess I'm saving all of your asses. And in return, well, you can help save the asses of many others.
What are we all being saved from?
Certain death.
Well, there has been a lot of that lately.
Why don't we sit down and be a lot? It's the information's a lot easier to take in when you're relaxed.
Of course. I do ask, though, anyone here that's capable of arcane magics, please try and limit it. We don't need any sort of arcane-tuned inquisitors picking up on our location.
Yuriko's gonna take out the note that she had, and she's gonna say in Inferno to Blue. Did you send this to me, or was it her?
As he kind of just like snaps his finger and gives you like a little finger gun.
And then she's just gonna sit down. Fucking tieflings.
Because Nalani does not trust this guy, she's just going to remain standing. I'll lean up against a wall or a doorway or something.
Just
That's
that
relaxed somewhere get.
Just that menacing look.
Mm-hmm.
No seat for you.
No, I'm good.
Okay, fine.
And usually when Nalani's relaxed, like she leaned the glaive up against her shoulder, up against the wall or something, it's actually, she has both hands on it. She hasn't leaned back, but both hands are on the glaive.
Well,
I'm just relaxed as hell. Don't even give a fuck.
Tell me, anyone, what do you know of the current political structure of Morning Glory?
Fanatical clerics.
That is a simplistic way to put it, yes. No one's heard rumors.
Well, I think we've all probably heard rumors, but who knows if any of them are actually true? And from what I've heard, if if the Morning Lord himself saw what they were doing in that city, he'd be sick to his stomach. But again, I don't know if that's true.
Well, let me share with you what our organization knows. The church itself is not exactly as it seems. Oh, it started off fine enough when the light was seemingly brought to Odag. But slowly but surely, through back channels and less than holy methods, the church and the current Morning Lord, Ardro Brightscale, have corrupted and perverted the light's message for their own gain. Though we are not exactly sure what this gain is at the moment. If it were just power and control over our kingdom, well, they already have that, but they seem to continually press on, trying to eliminate what they consider the dark and evil. Tell me, do any of you know what happened to the royal family?
Can't say that I do, no.
Well, the official story is that King and Queen Ashheim were assassinated one night by a fanatical dark cult, orphaning their 8-year-old child, Ambrielle, the now child queen of Morning Glory. Though that is just a smokescreen. The king and queen are alive and under our protection, though they had to flee the city. Unfortunately, Ardro got a hold of Ambrielle before they could secure her. She is now hailed as a symbol of the light, an ASMR child. He uses her as a puppet queen to pass laws, sign orders, pretty much control everything here on Odag. I'm not entirely sure what he sees in the child aside from her celestial blood, only using it to bolster more of the fanaticism towards the light. They've recently started collecting other ASMR in the area. Before this dark tower arose, families were given the opportunity to enroll an ASMR child into the church. This guaranteed them a comfortable life in Morning Glory. Parents of the Light, they were called. The children themselves were then taken in by the church to be indoctrinated or gods know what else. But ever since this tower has appeared, they are now forcefully taking Asimars into the church. Small bands of church officials are already moving from city to city, rounding up any Asimars they can find, claiming it's of great importance for the protection of the church and the light from this new dark menace. We don't know entirely sure what the plan is for these Asimar. But if they are using them, the child queen's life may be at risk.
It sounds to me like what they're doing is simply using a new excuse for something that they've done for years. See, I was told that my parents were given the opportunity to take me to Morning Glory, and they refused. And they were killed for it. And they were both Asimar.
I've never heard of executions happening. Normally, the methods of the church just get more and more aggressive, and the offer of the rewards get greater and greater.
It's my understanding that they were cut down right where they stood when they said no.
You have my apologies for that one. Maybe they changed their tune after that happened, or maybe they had some overzealous church officials trying to secure you. Whatever the case, it's still happening.
So we need to stop it then.
And you just landed on the point that I wanted to. We've been working with Alistair here as an inside agent. Him and a few others have been of great import, getting us inside information, inner workings of the church, secret documents, secret experiments. Our entire goal to infiltrate the city and rescue the queen, to reunite this poor girl with her parents. And then once she was with the true king and queen, rise up against this church. Though we were still in the planning process of this tower arriving has unfortunately forced our hand.
Are you even sure this child empress is still alive, or if her mind is not sufficiently broken where even if you were able to snatch her out of there and take her to the king and queen, that she would just do nothing but try to get back?
She is of a sound body and sound mind. I have a person on the inside who is technically her right hand. Brightscale, while a conniving bastard that he is, knows better than to bring harm to that child, at least for now.
Out of character question.
Mm-hmm.
Do I remember from the brainworm like image if the Megadon thing that like just erupted out of Morning Glory, if it was looked like an amalgam of something, or it looked like one complete entity?
It looked like a giant dragon.
Did it look corrupted, or did it look like it was just, you know?
It looked like it was made completely out of celestial light.
What exactly is it that you're asking us to do?
Well, I guess the history lesson is done. I need you to come with me. Tonight, as soon as things quiet down, we'll make way for Hampstead.
And why should we go with you?
Because we need your help, and it's the best way to ensure your survival.
Isn't Hampstead closed down? Why would we go there for survival?
It's closed down specifically for the reason why we closed it down. That is where the king and queen are. We have taken over the city.
And what about Steep Hollow?
Steep Hollow functions as normal. Its people are well taken care of.
Surely the church is aware that Hampstead is no longer under their control.
No, thankfully they don't. The great thing about being so fanatical in the light is you are easily pushed away by paranoia of the dark. You've obviously heard the many rumors going around about the current state of Hampstead, that vampires have overtaken it, that some sort of zombie rot runs rampant in the streets, that everybody in town has converted to some ungodly, cannibalistic cult. Rumors go on. But Hampstead is as functional as it has ever been.
Can I do an insight check on that?
Sure.
Good luck.
Oh, right. I forgot my insight was trash. I get my character's stats all mixed up all the time. Yeah, that's going to be a solid 4.
You don't know if you don't know if he's lying. What he says is, it sounds truthful enough.
So, all these rumors that we've heard, different one in each town, it seems. Am I to take it that perhaps these were spread by your organization to keep the church away?
It started off like that, but you know how rumors travel.
Indeed.
All it needs to do is seep into one person's mind, and well, then it just spreads like wildfire.
So I'm certainly willing to accompany you if for no other reason to sate my own curiosity. However, I think we do have another issue that needs addressing.
Oh, and what is that? The tower?
Well, yes, that is an issue that needs addressing, though not the one I was referring to. The Inquisition has requested the assistance of the hunters here in this town. Us among them. If the church is as desperate as they seem, surely there's going to be consequences for denying that request.
Well, that's the great thing about the Mad Dogs. You can't order them to do anything. Everyone is given the option to go or not. So I wouldn't really worry about the assault on the tower. We have that taken care of.
Would you care to elaborate?
I'm afraid I can't at this time.
Well, one of our
Need to know
companions-
basis.
Well, one of our companions, and she'll side eye Kunkaval, almost died trying to get into that place. So if you have a way around that or a way to nullify,
Oh,
it's-
no, we don't. Yet.
so you're in no better position to get in there than we or they do.
Oh, I never stated we had any intention of going in there. Just that we would take care of it.
And are you going to summon a god turtle and fling it into the ocean?
Well, if all goes according to plan, we won't have to set a finger or foot near it.
And what of the Inquisition? What of their fingers and feet? They are not all zealots. There are innocents among them. I'd like to, not see them trampled.
Oh, do not worry. Again, if our plan goes soundly, none of their blood will be spilled either.
I suppose we should hope everything goes according to plan, then.
Indeed. Now, I must warn you the way that we are going. Well, before I explain that, am I safe to assume that you will assist Alistair and I?
Still not sure what we're assisting on.
If all goes according to plan, by the way, that is my favorite saying. It will guarantee the safety and the freedom of the peoples beyond the wall. The church will not have a stranglehold on you, on any of us. And we can begin to work towards reestablishing the royal family once again.
And if things don't go according to plan, you usually
Well-
find things rarely do.
Well, then we are all right fucked. But doing nothing leads to that outcome anyway. So I don't know about you, but I, in that situation, prefer to go down swinging.
Well, I can promise you this. The secrets that you have revealed to me, to us, here, are safe. They will not go outside of this house. And I will accompany you to Hampstead. But I won't pledge myself to your cause until I see it firsthand. Till I see the town and this royal pair that you claim to have there. And should it be in the best interest of the people of Odag, then you have my service. But that will be a decision that I make after we arrive in Hampstead.
I would say that's a fair agreement. One shouldn't sign up to possibly throw their lives away without knowing the full details. What of the rest of you?
I'm still weighing the options. I'm not certain one option's better than the other. Not sure why I should care about all the rest of the people of Odag.
Fair.
But I'm also uncertain where my role falls in and my safety falls in if things do go awry.
Sounds like we would be safer with you than with the church.
So to be fair, you're safer with a rabid dragon than you are with the church.
That's true. We have had an encounter with a rabid dragon, and we were safer in that moment than we are now.
At least we know where we stand with the church.
As cannon fodder.
I mean, yes. But
I understand your hesitation, Alani. And given the roles, if they were reversed, I would question it myself. But I come to all of you in request due to the strength and perseverance you have shown recently in your adventures.
well, would be lying if I said I agreed to help the church. I wasn't planning on leaving as soon as things got too dicey. This just moves up the timeline. But I'm with Mia. I will make no pledge until I understand what's happening.
That is fair.
At least this way I don't have to try and dodge the Inquisition as I leave. Well, not while they're fighting.
Well, if we are all in agreement, then I will make my exit for now. Get everything situated. I'll be back at the stroke of midnight. I have other things in town that I must take care of before we leave.
How exactly will we be leaving?
Oh, that's the glorious thing. We'll be leaving underground. I'll explain more when it's time to leave. Meet me at the Healer's Hall at midnight.
The Healer's Hall? Seems like a odd place to meet.
Oh, it definitely is, and it's going to get much, much odder, but things will be revealed in time.
I see. All right, midnight it is.
If you need to pack up your things or go back to the inn, do so now. The Inquisition isn't really looking for you. They're just making sure demons or devils or what other things go bump in the night don't wander in.
I don't suppose you know if the Church or Inquisition has anybody stationed in or around the inn that would notice if magic was used in proximity?
I would very highly suggest you use no magic in town at this moment. Most Inquisitors are at least attuned enough to realize when it goes off.
I see. Well, you seem like a capable fellow. I don't suppose you'd be able to do a favor for me, then?
It depends on what this favor is.
I left a bit of a ward on the door to my room. I would very much like that dispelled before we leave.
Oh, so you're that one. There have been a lot of questions asked about that door. One of the employees shut it.
Yes, I was afraid that might happen. I did give them explicit instructions not to, but accidents happen. My concern is that the magic used on the door is quite a rarity. I don't want the Inquisition asking questions.
And it's just not something you can say not focus on anymore and it goes away?
I would have to physically touch it myself and cast the spell again that I used to ward it in the first place. Or, if there's anyone that's capable of dispelling magic, if their magic is strong enough, they can dispel it themselves.
Oh.
Do you need something out of the room?
No, I just don't want to leave traces of my magic behind.
Hmm. So say if you need something out of it, you can always enter it the way Kimmick did. But
I'll see what I can do.
Much appreciated.
Well, for now, this is goodbye. Grab your things, say your goodbyes if you need to, and I will meet you at the Healer's Hall at midnight.
What time is it around this time?
About 8.
if anyone else want to make a trip to the inn, I'm going to go by. At least see if the payment for our last drop's been dropped off before we have to leave town.
Oh, right. We still have to get paid.
I want my
We
money.
do.
Glad somebody remembered.
Where's my money, Brian?
Look, it's not like I don't have enough money of my own, but I want my money.
That's fair. Speaking of money, I'm not going to leave this house. I think that's not a wise decision. But anyone that's going out, I will give a bit of money to so they can pick up a couple things for Chantra. We had talked about getting her a slingshot, if possible, and something a little safer to carry her stones in.
Stones.
I don't know anything about the stones, but I can definitely secure his slingshot.
Oh, and a set of winter clothes that actually fit her.
Sure.
Dang mermaids.
Don't do the magic stuff, so I don't know what she should carry that in.
Most likely bag like Chemic has.
Yeah, I don't know where to get one of those. They would be most useful.
Looks straight at Mia.
I may know where you can get one of those. The ramshackled tackle box, I believe, is the name of it.
Finally, somebody gets the name correct.
It's ramshackle bait and tackle.
Yeah,
That's
I've
the
been
one.
there.
Yes.
Is that where she's been? I didn't see her buy a bag when we were there.
Well, they have a less public part of the shop.
Something tells me they're not going to let me in there, but I'll try.
Just be gentle with them.
Just gonna stare at Mia like, what?
It'll be fine. I believe in you.
Alrighty. So I have 3 destinations. Need to go by the blacksmith. So I figure that's where I can pick up a weapon.
Okay, so unfortunately, due to it being night, everything is already closed down. Like, people have already started retiring in for the night or going to the tavern.
Well, looks like this just went from a shopping episode to a B&E episode.
B&E is always an option.
How did that go last campaign?
Not well.
Towns being lit on fire.
It was
Didn't
not
someone
my
fall
fault.
off a ladder and die?
You're muted,
Ezra, you
Azarin.
are muted, sir.
You need to be way more specific when you mention towns going on fire in any of our campaigns. because
That's
it's
just the
not
norm.
it is not just B&E where that happens. We've had an array of circumstances where shit gets put on fire. So,
On purpose, that's not our fault. But about 70% is our fault. And all campaigns, by the way.
I'm just saying.
I'm just waiting for this campaign to have its first arson incident.
I'm like, I like it's gonna happen, but like just trust me. Every campaign, someone or someone's plural have lit a fucking building on fire on purpose or accidentally.
Look, I will have it where I want fists of fireball. That's all I want.
Yes. Would I know if Bones would
And
still be
blood.
down in the
Oh, no.
requisitions office, essentially?
Yeah, she's normally down there all hours of the night.
I think that's where I'll go once I realize everything's closed.
Okay. And you can see that a lot of the weapons that are like normally on the racks and everything are missing. Like suits
Yeah.
of armor are gone, everything. And it seems that a lot of people are preparing for the assault on the tower.
So, approach Bones. Be like, I'm looking for a couple items. Party member lost her stuff.
Oh, that is not good. It wasn't anything of ours, was it?
No. Her clothes got torn, so she needs a new set of winter clothes. Give approximate sizes for that. We're also looking for a slingshot. You don't happen to have one of those still on hand?
A slingshot?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that is a weird request.
What I was asked to grab.
Well, she kind of motions over to like a few crates that are pressed against the wall. Take your choice of the winter garb. I will check around to see if we have any slingshots.
And you wouldn't have anyone have... How do I... She's gonna look real awkward for a moment. Turned in a... bag that can carry more volatile items, would you?
A bag that can carry volatile items?
You know how you turn in some of the magic items, you get some.
Oh,
Looking...
one of the bags of holding.
Yeah.
I'll check that as well. No promises on that one.
Understood. More dig through the winter clothing and get what I think is her size. We'll see. I'm not very wise, so...
Go ahead and give me an intelligence check.
Intelligence that I can do. It's gonna be a 21.
A 21. You think you get an enough like a decent sized set of winter clothing that should fit her.
Okay.
And as you're digging through the clothes and you find everything that will match, Bones comes back with a slingshot.
Alright.
This is all I found.
That's
We don't
fine.
have any holding bags or anything like that.
If you were to transport something that was more volatile, how would you recommend it?
In a crate on a cart. Reinforced.
Not really an option.
How volatile are we talking?
I don't know, the last bag we had them in exploded.
I would suggest not carry volatile items that can explode in a bag then.
I'll tell them that. Is there an extra, like, just normal pack?
Yeah, she hands you a backpack.
That'll do. That's what she's gonna get.
And she's like, you just gotta sign up for them here. She kind of slides over the
And it
The
just gets
clipboard.
the
check
N.
mark.
Yep.
The N with a check mark.
Yep.
Milani's doctor handwriting.
Very much. Look, she didn't practice it very much. It probably is not very legible.
Is anybody's handwriting actually legible?
In this
I'm
era,
sure there's something, a chicken scratch joke here somewhere for me.
And then I do want to swing by the hotel to see if our payment's been dropped off.
Your payment has been dropped off.
I wish to collect that.
You can collect it for everyone.
Awesome. I don't know how much it was.
Does
We can
anyone
figure that
remember does anyone remember how much that was?
I did not write it down. Good question.
I don't have it in my notes.
Yeah, neither do I.
Were we told how much it was?
You were.
Mm.
Then
Damn it,
that's on
Zorro.
us.
Zora would totally have it.
Zorro's got it written down, probably with highlighter.
So you could just write payment in your inventory now. We can check with Zorro later.
Yep.
I think you were given it was like 1,000, if not 1,500, but I'm not entirely sure. Don't quote me on that.
Just put payment.
Wait, was that what it was? Because we never really got it until we got back, I think.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
just got it.
you just got
but-
it.
Okay, cool. I will.
What will happen
check
is
that.
Milani's going to accidentally forget it in her pack until it comes time to disperse it, and that's when we'll know how much it is.
Yeah, we're probably not going to be spending gold anytime soon anyway, so you'll be fine.
Yeah.
No, rule of thumb is we have a bunch of money, we go on a huge spending spree. That's how it works.
And then town gets lit on fire. I mean,
Somehow.
Somehow.
somebody buys fireworks, and well, then that's the end of that one.
First season, we got to get out of jail debit card.
So after doing all that, I'll head back to the house.
Okay.
I'll hand off the clothing and the slingshot, and then just a regular bag. Shops were closed. This is all I can acquire.
Well, it's certainly better than nothing. Thank you. Now, Chandra, do you know how to use a slingshot?
You put the rock in the sling part, you pull it back, and then let go.
You've got the basics, yeah?
We can turn the hidden room into a
All the basics.
trial room. Set up some cans. You can just hurl rocks at them.
Not a bad idea, actually. We've got a few hours to kill.
I don't have any rocks. The rocks I've put glyphs on already. So
Yes, don't shoot those around in the house.
it's okay. I know how to use a slingshot. Not that hard.
I mean, most people would say throwing a rock isn't that hard either.
Muted, Raven.
As Claude pulls out a large handful of rocks, some of them are nicer than others.
Chinese.
I could use those, but they're far too pretty to use as ammunition.
Well, if I had ball bearings, I'd offer them, but I don't.
You can kill your enemies with pretty.
Just no hitting back of head again, please.
I'm sorry. That was just a bit of rust. I haven't really thrown a stone at anyone recently. Normally, I was under his protection and in his trove, so I didn't really have to throw them at anyone.
Well, I suppose we've just got a bit of time to kill before midnight. Head off to the Healer's Hall.
Etrin, looking around the group, I suggest we get as much rest as we can for now. There's no telling what we're going to have to do once we begin this trek.
It's a fair point.
So is anybody doing anything specific for these 4 hours?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say Yuriko's getting her personal hookah out of her room.
Okay.
She's not leaving that behind. She paid good money for it. And if it's only 4 hours, she's human. 4 hours isn't really going to give her any rest that's significant, and she just has to not exert herself to get back her warlock slots. So she's not in any danger of exhaustion. So she's gonna go back to the hookah bar, and instead of just like she's gonna find a more open area for hookah, and she's basically just going to take out her boomerang and string it up and just start playing until she has to leave for the healer's ball.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a performance check.
Schwink. That's a good roll. Let's see. 14 plus 6 is dirty 20.
Nice. So through your performance, you're able to make 20 gold.
Oh wow, I wasn't even trying to make gold. I just wanted to like just have like a final, kind of hoopla at the hookah bar. But I'll take it.
I'm gonna kind of post up somewhere in the house where I can get a good view, as much as I can, of the doorway without being like in the window.
The front door or the back door?
The back door where we left tracks to multiple times.
You did do that. I know Kukaval cast Pass Without. Normally he didn't. He didn't cast Pass Without Trace. Never mind.
Oh, we have lots of tracks. That's how I found them in the first place.
This is true. Okay. So you post up in the house and you're looking around. You don't really see anything at all, honestly.
Let's all keep watch.
Okay.
Again, sleeping's not going to do much for me, so.
Yeah, same. So I'm just gonna kind of find a place to relax and pull one of the candles over to me so I have a bit of light, and I'm gonna peruse through that old tome that I bought that had the title kind of scratched out or decayed off of it. The only words I could read were dragon and almanac. I'm just gonna peruse through that book.
Okay. Is there anything specifically you're looking for, or just perusing?
More just perusing, but also kind of keeping an eye out for anything that might match the description or approximation of the image of that like weird celestial-ish type dragon that we saw.
Yeah. Okay. If you can go ahead and give me an investigation roll.
It's 19.
Chug. Oh.
So, going through the book, the first half of it, as you're flipping through the pages trying to find anything, is just a very old almanac on the history of dragons, the different behaviors, life cycles, and everything of the different species. But you get to a little past the middle, and you can feel the texture of the pages have changed. They're a bit more thick, a bit more leathery. The ink on the pages themselves almost looks like if they've been scratched into the parchment. And it begins going into details of creating dragons by hand. What it takes to create one, what is required, the time, the gold cost, and then steps on how to begin to prepare for it. Though there are only about 10 pages of this before you get back to the almanac itself. Almost as if these pages were inserted in there after the book had been bound and sold.
I see. Okay, I'm probably going to peruse those specific pages like several times over, trying to commit as much of it to memory as I can. And when it's starting to approach midnight, rather than putting the book back in my bag, that harness that I had made that I keep my spell book in, it had a slot for a second book on the other side. That's where I'm going to keep the Dragon Almanac.
Okay. As you're reading the those pages on the almanac, can I get an intelligence saving throw?
You sure can. That is a really low number, but thankfully, it's still a 17.
17. Okay.
It was an 8 on the die.
It was an 8 on the die, and you got a 17.
Yep.
All right. So
Wizards.
as you're perusing these pages over and over and over again, there's a bit of dread and a bit of a sick feeling that sort of begins to build up on you, as if the pages don't feel natural. There's just something wrong with the pages and the ink and just what's described here that is almost distracting you from your study. So aside from a bit of lingering dread, there isn't much else that happens.
Okay. Actually, knowing that, before I put the book away, I would like to compare those pages briefly to the cover of my spell book, which I don't think I've described yet. But the cover of my spell book is made from dragon skin that has had the scales pried off. Do the pages of the Dragon Almanac match that same texture at all?
A bit, yeah. The cover of your spell book though has gone through a bit of a curing process, as it is the cover, and this just looks like it's been turned into parchment.
Mildly concerning. Okay.
Anyone else want to do anything?
Yeah. Al is just pretty much going to pack up his stuff from the inn, and he's not even gonna wait until midnight. He's just gonna go straight to the health hall.
Okay. You're just gonna hang out there for the night?
Pretty much.
Are you going inside or are you hanging out outside?
I'm gonna be inside.
Okay. You're lucky. Nobody seems to pay you any mind.
All right.
What were you gonna say, Raven?
Oh, I was gonna say, Azurcloud's just gonna be working on carving up some of the stones that he's got.
Okay.
While we have some time.
All right. Go ahead and give me a D6 roll.
It's a 2.
A 2. All right. So that's gonna be 1 point. When the DM says you're lucky.
You're lucky. Oh dear.
All right, if nobody is doing anything else, let's go ahead and take our first break for the night so we can get up, stretch our legs, refresh our drinks, and we will be back in about 5 minutes.
Cause we exist to survive the changing
Sunny Jim.
Alrighty, we are back.
Hi. How
Hi.
you doing?
So midnight begins to roll around. The rest of you at the house haven't seen sign of Alistair since he left.
Did he tell us that he was? No, he just left. Okay.
He just left.
That sounds like a him problem to Nalani.
Well, how about we all go to the healer's hall and perhaps he's going to meet us there.
Sounds fair to me.
Should we all go together, or should we, like, pace ourselves in smaller groups? What do you think is going to be less conspicuous to any inquisitors wandering around?
Depends. Large group of people is always conspicuous. But if they notice every single one of us sneaking by, that's also conspicuous.
Right.
Do we really need to sneak by, though? From the way that this tiefling gentleman made it sound, that none of the guards or inquisitors were on the lookout for any of us.
No, but we don't
Yes.
exactly want them seeing us going into the hunter's hall or the healer's hall and then never coming back out.
Yes, I think we're just being perhaps overly cautious, but I'd rather be overly than not enough. Why don't we all just do our best to look like ordinary citizens bundled up in our winter gear and meander down to the healer's hall?
Funny enough, it's a couple blocks down.
Yes, I'm sure Goliath walk around is real conspicuous. Along with, the raven folk over here and the gecko. We kind of stand out.
And the sea elf and the high elf. And,
Mm-hmm.
Let's just go. I think we all kind of stand out in our own right.
Yeah.
So together, then.
Together.
Okay. So if you are all just walking towards the healer's hall, nothing happens. You pass a couple like one or two inquisitors, but they don't really do anything. Again, they just greet you and move on. And when you get there, the door to the healer's hall is slightly ajar.
Poke our head in, see if the coast is clear.
And you see Alistair and Blue sitting on a couple beds, just waiting for you.
Oh,
I am reading
here.
a book.
Oh, good. Thankfully, there were no incidents today that would require people stay overnight here.
Yuriko gets there just before midnight.
Okay.
Well, seems that we're all here. Alistair, it would have been nice to know that you were going to meet us here, but we're all here now.
Well, plan was when it gets close to midnight to get here anyway, so I'd figure I'd just be here.
Lordon's
Fair
calling.
enough, I suppose.
Sorry, ringed up.
I heard that text notification.
I had to change it from Oh Hard Daddy since I'm doing a new job to Power Rangers.
Yes.
Ay.
Anyway. Oh, you're all here. Good. Well, if we're all but ready, follow me. He leads you over towards a back wall. Looks around and he just presses on a stone as the wall kind of shifts to the side and leads down into a stairwell.
I was about to ask why the Healer's Hall, but I think that is my answer.
Good answer.
I take it, then, that Lady White is one of your people?
No, why would you assume that?
Well, she runs this place, doesn't she?
Yes, she runs this place.
Does she not know about this?
Oh, she knows of this, and so does the church. As he begins walking down the stairs.
Okay, well, perhaps this doesn't answer my question, then.
He looks over his shoulder as he's continuing walking down. Have you ever thought it's weird that you've never seen inquisitors or high church officials riding the trains, yet they somehow appear in towns, almost as if they were summoned?
You know, I never thought of it all that hard. Mostly because I tend to avoid them at all costs.
Well, if you've ever wondered about it, here is your answer. As you reach down to the bottom of the stairs, you come into a very large underground tunnel that has its own set of train tracks running on it.
Dope.
The personal railway of the church. It connects to every town and directly to Morning Glory.
So Oscar built 2 railways. It's my boy.
Oscar didn't build this railway.
Ah, damn.
His son did.
Oscar's too young to have a kid.
Every one of these tracks run directly to a point of interest in a city. Here it is the Healer's Hall. Silverdale, it's the Chamber of Commerce. Bloom's Bend is directly into the church. But Hampstead hasn't been accessible for years now. Sudden cave-in sort of blocked the tracks, and well, for whatever reason or another, the church hasn't decided to put in time to clear said tracks. Now, if you'll follow me, he pulls out a torch and he kind of strikes it to light it. And then he jumps off of the platform down onto the tracks themselves. And begins to walk to the east.
Is that safe? What if a train comes?
Well, if a train comes and is barreling down on us, I would say that they themselves are doomed as well. As he points a little ways back, and you can see the front of a train at a dead stop. They tend to stop the train there, give it enough distance to brake just in case.
I see.
Going past Madtown at the moment is Not really advisable as well. There are rocks on the tracks. Lucky enough for them, if they need to make it to Gloom's Bend or anything to the north, there is another set of tracks a couple miles back that split to the north.
I would very much like a map of these tracks. One point, knowing where they are and where to avoid, or perhaps not avoid, seems like it could be useful information.
Well, you're going to have to get that from someone else. I don't have maps of the underground.
Keep my eyes and ears open. I will hop down onto the tracks and follow him.
Take it the rest of you are doing the same thing?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
So you walk probably a good 2-3 hours until you come to a very large cave-in the tunnel. So this is where it gets a little tricky. He walks over and he taps one of the rocks, and you can see the cave-in vanish. And in front of you is a train.
Well, that's certainly a neat trick.
Yes, it cost us a pretty penny to get this illusion set up. Had to be strong enough and, well, as believable as possible so nobody went poking their nose in this business.
When he tapped it, did I feel any sort of like arcane pulse or anything?
You did not.
Intriguing. I assume the pretty penny was to, say, cover the trace that such magic would leave in the weave?
Oh, there is no magic here.
I'm sorry?
This is all creations of artificers under our
Artificers. Tricky bunch.
refractions of light, duplications of images. Illusions without the need of magic.
And only a little bit blasphemous.
It's only blasphemous. It's only blasphemy if you get caught.
Fair enough, I suppose. Well, shall we? Let's hope this one doesn't get derailed like the last one did.
Yes, let us hope there is no rescue down here. And this is a single car train. It's got the engine on the front of it to pull it, and there's only one car for the lot of you.
Or are we walking or are we getting on a train?
Well, if you want to walk, you can walk, but the train is set up for the take you from your destination now to Hampstead.
Oh, I just, because in my brain I thought train was derailed and it was like on the side or something. I'm like, well, that sucks.
Nope. Wrong
on the-
train. We only do derailed one.
A bar.
True.
Gotcha. Okay, so we're getting on a train.
As you begin to get up on into the train car and everything, there is another person waiting for you in the train, already seated at one of the like the little party compartments at a table, a cup of tea in front of them. It takes those of you who met her previously recognize High Inquisitor Lisa Breton sitting at the table.
Well, this is interesting.
No, indeed. Blue, I didn't know this was the lot you spoke of, but I guess it makes sense. They aren't really lifetime members yet. They're new to town. Their disappearance would be easily explained. Alistair.
Inquisitor.
Hold on. Did you say Inquisitor?
Hi, Inquisitor. But let's drop the
Okay.
let's drop the titles here. You may just call me Lisa. Inquisitor is just the title that I wear above.
I'm sorry. What's your last name?
Breton.
Oh, okay. So we're in bed with the High Inquisitor then.
You make it sound so dirty.
I intended to.
I am only the High Inquisitor. It means to make sure that our queen is safe. I don't agree with much of what the church has done recently. And after alarming reports that I've received from a very now well-respected church official, I'm afraid that rumors of corruption and blasphemies seeping into the church itself are unfortunately true.
So you're like Alistair then. You're one of the good ones.
I wouldn't call myself a good one. I'm not really a believer.
A believer in the church or in Lathander himself?
All of this. I think this is just some grand misbegotten illusion that's been pulled over everyone's eyes. I don't believe that for a moment that this Lathander has blessed us. That a deity that is supposed to be the embodiment of protection from the dark would allow this sort of corruption to continue in his name. Whatever is going on here, I do not believe that it has anything to do with this Lathander.
Well, I'm admittedly not entirely sure what to make of that. High Inquisitor that doesn't necessarily follow Lathander. No wonder the church is in shambles.
The church itself isn't in shambles. Its image is. That's mostly due to what they've been, their most recent actions, and a few of the reports mistakenly getting out to the public. I still have no idea how that happened.
Well, whoever it is, I think we should be thanking them.
Thankfully, they'll never find out.
You say that like you know how these reports have gotten out.
I am High Inquisitor, after all. Knowing is part of my job.
Interesting. Interesting company you keep, Alistair.
Oh, this is just the tip of the iceberg. But I do suggest you all take a seat. Standing on a train as it gets moving is not really a pleasant experience.
Right. I will find the nearest seat, and as I sit down, I'm gonna light the lantern that I keep on my hip. It's a hooded lantern, so I'll keep it closed, but I want to know that it's lit, just in case.
Just in case, okay.
And I'll take a seat.
And Lisa's sitting there with a cup of tea and a teapot in front of her, and she's got a small, what looks to be like a red leather-bound journal in her hands, and she seems to be just flipping through the pages. But as you take your seats, you feel like a sudden jolt as the train rocks to life and begins to speed up and begin its journey down the tracks. Well, tuck in, everyone. We've got a good 12 hours ahead of us.
12 hours. Well, at least we can all get some proper sleep, hopefully.
He nods and points to like a bit back in the car, and you see there are a couple a couple sleeping bags. Not really high quality accommodations we have here, but we travel light.
Understandable, given your organization, I guess.
I guess that's a good way to refer to it, as an organization. I guess it's not necessarily a revolution or an uprising until it actually begins.
So you're, I guess, rebels, in a way.
More followers of the true rulers of Odag.
The king and queen.
Yes. Lord and Lady Ashheim. And the current Queen Ambrielle.
How exactly do you intend on retrieving the current queen, anyway?
She closes the journal and just sets it in front of her. We are going to stage a kidnapping.
You're going to kidnap the queen?
Well, that's what the church is going to call it and charge any of us caught. In the process, it's a rescue, but in the Morning Lord's eyes, it's kidnapping.
And how exactly do you plan on doing that? Is she not tucked away safely in, the capital of all of this?
She is, but I have direct access to her.
I suppose you would, wouldn't you?
While I'm in the city, I'm Her Majesty's personal guard.
I guess that makes access a bit easier.
Access from me, anyway.
Yes.
But even I am not able to take her off the castle grounds. So we need to cause an issue.
See.
That's where, well, if you agree to help us, all of you come in.
Are we to be the issue, then?
Yes.
Now, normally, I don't have a problem being an issue for certain people, especially the church. But I'm mildly concerned that this issue will need to be caused within the capital city.
You would be correct.
That may be a problem.
And why is that? Aside from the obvious.
Well, I feel like the obvious needs to be stated here. I'm under the impression, at least my mother has told me on numerous occasions, that you have in your employ, the church's employ, certain people with the ability to, say, detect certain lineages, races, celestials, infernals, that sort.
Are you telling me that you're ASMR?
No. No, I'm not.
That's not what the report says.
Well, your report is wrong.
Kind of looks over to Alistair. I doubt it. But do not worry. I do not care if you are an ASMR or any other celestial. That's none of my business. So, we could use that.
Mildly concerned by that. But before we stray too far from what I was getting at, if we are to cause an issue within Morning Glory, and one of these people capable of detecting such creatures is around, I would be pointed out as having celestial blood. Is that not going to be a problem?
Well, if you do have celestial blood, and you are with me, there's absolutely no cause for concern. All it looks like is the glorious Grand Inquisitor has caught herself another celestial.
I see. Not entirely comfortable with that, but I suppose the specifics can be sorted out once we arrive at our destination.
So, so, um, here goes here goes going to take a loose piece of like parchment and then write on it um in infernal, have fun being the bait. And then she's gonna head over to like one of the bed areas, and because she knows that Mia speaks and reads infernal, she's she's just gonna fold it up and just like tuck it into a lapel or something, and then just keep walking. And situates herself into a sleeping compartment, and she's just gonna hum a happy tune as she does that.
Okay.
Don't worry, we won't let you die.
Much.
Much. Oh fuck.
Though if any of you do have questions or concerns and whatnot, we have 12 hours ahead of us, and I wouldn't mind answering any.
I do have plenty more questions. For you, specifically, High Inquisitor.
Please drop the title. I hate the title. It's just a mask I wear.
I will do my best, but it is difficult to change from old habits, I suppose. Took me a while before I stopped saying Lord Alistair. My questions will wait, however.
I mean, to be fair, Alistair is a lord in Morning Glory, with all the responsibilities and privileges that come with it. That's not a mask. That he is a knighted lord of Morning Glory.
I figured as much, but, knowing he's one of the good ones, as they say, it felt presumptuous to continue calling him Lord.
If it makes you feel any better, I absolutely hate what I have to go through in Morning Glory. Absolutely hate it. That's why I've been with the Mad Dogs and all that, because I feel a lot more comfortable.
See, well, I don't claim to know or even understand your whole situation. Alistair, but knowing what we do now about you and your business, I do feel like I owe you a little bit of an apology for being so cold when we first met. I was just trying to be cautious, that's all.
I didn't really see it as cold. I mean, it's just a usual day-to-day business where I'm from.
But
Trust me, when a lot of people like look at you because you're all high up there in that little archy there, people just look at you like, you know, you're all that when you're, yeah.
certainly see you in a different light now, for whatever that's worth. Any further questions I have are going to have to wait, because I am still quite literally exhausted from taking that affliction from Nalani the other day. So I'm going to go rest.
Have a good sleep then.
I will try.
As you're walking away, you can see her flip to a blank page in the journal, and she begins writing something down.
Do I walk past her on my way to the resting part of the train car?
You do. Her back is to it.
Can I glance at what she's writing?
Sure. What languages do you speak?
That is a question. And I have a lengthy answer. I speak Common, Dwarvish, Elvish, Celestial, Draconic, Infernal, Primordial, and Sylvan.
None of those, of all the languages you speak, this looks like chicken scratch.
I'm learning Goblin. Does it look like Goblin?
It is not Goblin.
Okay.
I bet you it's Jotun. That's like my favorite DM. That's my favorite DM language to fuck with people with.
I am quite adept as well at creating ciphers. I have the linguist feat. Does this look like a cipher?
Nope. This just looks like a language that you do not understand.
Okay. Keep that in the back of my mind.
So much for the wizard.
I'll get there, man. I am going to know every single language on this planet.
Wasn't that your goal in first season, was to know every language?
I think that was just Cassius's goal, was to know everything.
Oh god.
Just
Still
it was just
working
part
on
of this is part of Cassius's greed affliction.
Yeah. He's still working on it.
I'm still betting it's Jotun.
After she's done writing, she sets the journal back down and takes a sip of the tea. The rest of you are rather quiet.
It's been a day.
It's been a day.
It indeed has been a day. I've just had to convince Esme that her dogs are needed to storm the tower, to only cancel it last minute.
Why is that?
For some reason, the Inquisition was miraculously recalled to bolster the defenses back home. Come the morning, they will all be headed. Oh, I almost just spilt my drink. They will all be headed back to Sun's Rest, or not Sun's Rest, Morning Glory, to be stationed along the sun's crest. Orders coming from higher than somebody than me.
I'm not sure what to make of this, but I have a feeling I'm more in need to some rest.
Well, There are sacks, I guess you can call them, in the back.
Appreciated. Make my way through and go try and find one big enough to accommodate myself. But I pull out my own sack.
Yeah, I was gonna say, unfortunately, there isn't anything Goliath sized.
Yeah, I'll pull out my own.
Like 3 of them.
Yeah.
All right. You're gonna have to
Got
like
one
zip
on
a
each
couple of
leg.
yeah, zip a couple of them together.
One on each leg, one on each arm, put one on your head.
Something attacks the train later on, and Nalani comes charging out wearing multiple sleeping bags.
No, it's like whack inflatable arm wave.
Uniform armor. Yeah, noodle arm it. Intimidation. Yeah.
Right.
What about the rest of you?
I think Azrael is going to find somewhere to at least get some rest before we're put through hell.
That would most definitely be the back with the sleeping bags where everyone else is at.
Do I know from the chain of command what is next from High Inquisitor?
The only thing that's above High Inquisitor is the Morning Lord.
Is the Morning Lord? All right.
What are you thinking?
Oh, I was done. That's all
Okay.
I wanted to know. I am so sorry.
You had that look of like you were thinking something.
You just see steam come out of my ear.
Pretty much.
My only brain cell working way.
Numbers are starting to fly by your head.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
That's fine. So are you resting the entire night? Like the entire 12 hours? Or are you only getting the recommended 8?
I'm just trying to get a long rest myself,
Okay.
So I can get rid of this last point of exhaustion.
I would like a long rest to basically replenish some of the missing things I have.
Mm-hmm.
Same, so I can do some
Stairs
punching.
and extra hit dice overflow. How many do you gain back from a long rest?
Half.
All of them.
I thought you gained back half.
I thought it was
No.
all.
Long rest is all. Short
All?
is it half?
I think
That
it's
was
half.
half.
Maybe it is
It's half. You gain back half the total number of hit die on a long rest. So as long as you haven't spent all of your
Rounded up or down?
up.
Then it really doesn't matter.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Long rest, and then is there enough room in here to continue working on my athletics?
No. This is a basic train car.
Unless you're gonna be like running up on the walls.
Look like a 2-year-old doing laps of a train car.
I mean, could I do like, some G.I. Jane action, like, just start doing some curls and shit, like up on one of the banisters?
There's honestly nothing in this car that would be beneficial to you. For the training,
No.
the training regiment that you're used to, this train car is not it.
There's no rails here to hold your fat ass.
Like even like the overhead compartments and stuff, like where you would put like overhead luggage, have been pretty much removed.
Oh, goddamn.
For the other 4 hours, how rough is said train ride?
Thankfully smooth. Like you get the basic rocking, but you don't notice any like breaks in the track or jumps in the car.
Would it be smooth enough that I could do a little bit of work on tool crafting?
I would say no.
Okay, that's fair.
So those of you who do only take the long rest of the 8 hours, with the remaining 4 hours, you notice that Lisa is not in that seat anymore. A cold half drank cup of tea sitting next to that red journal, but she is nowhere to be found.
Is the journal still there?
Yeah, the journal is just closed face down on the table.
Is anyone else in the car?
Doesn't look like.
Then Iriko will open the journal and take a peek inside.
Okay.
And she can't read it, obviously, but she doesn't know that, so she would take a
What
look.
languages do you speak?
She only speaks Common and Infernal.
Yeah, there is nothing in this journal that is common or infernal. Though when you flip through the pages, you notice that there are different kinds of script almost on each page, as if every page changes to a different language.
That's interesting.
Can we?
Can I use my calligraphy skill to try and copy some of the text?
You could try.
What do I need to roll for you?
That is going to be a performance check with your calligraphy
Alright.
set.
All right. So let's see. Ooh, that's a 19 plus 5. That is 24.
You seem to make a decent copy of one of the pages.
She's going to tuck it away into like her other like writing stuff. Close the book, and then just find a spot to sit down quietly and write some more haikus and drink some warm sake.
Can we see where she went to? It's a one-cart train.
It's a one-cart train. The only thing that you can think of is she went into the engine car. Unless she jumped off the train, that would be the only possible means of leaving.
Okay. Is there a
Yuriko
window
Finch.
into that cart?
What's that?
Is there a window into that cart?
Just the door.
Okay. I'm more sit down, stare at the door for a while, waiting for it to reopen.
Okay.
Give it a bit of time while everyone else does their things.
Is Mr. Blue still in here with us?
Mr. Blue pretty much went to the front of the train car and is pretty much the one who's driving this train at the moment.
Gotcha. Etrin, he doesn't sleep like normal people, not as much anyway. I'll look over at him. You happen to see where our guest went?
And when you address him, you notice that him and was it Chantra?
Chandra.
Yeah, are like in the middle of like a child's card game. And he looks up and says, she excused herself a couple hours ago to head to the front, saying that she had to oversee operation of the train to give Mr. Blue a bit of a rest.
I see. Well, good to know, I suppose, that she didn't bail while we were all asleep and have us heading directly into a trap. I mean, we still may be heading directly into a trap, but she's here with us, so that's something. What do you make of all this, Etrin?
There's not much to make. Well, no, there is way too much to make out of it. This church, its people, now talks of corruption from within. The kidnapping of ASMRs and those with celestial blood. The murder of your parents. The assassination attempt against the king and queen. And now talks of storming the capital to rescue this child queen in order to spark some sort of rebellion. I will be honest, this is not what I expected when I came here. But I am sworn to offer my assistance to right any wrongs that do threaten the innocent people of this land.
Who are you sworn to?
My order.
Which I suppose begs the question: what is your order exactly? You've mentioned them in passing a couple of times, but who are they?
It's a newly reformed order. The previous version of this collective fell out of favor about 60 years ago. It ended rather bloody as the armors that we wear turned on the owners, corrupted them, and ultimately led to their demise. But not all armors and their weapons were destroyed. Thankfully, one of them was kept in a house of one of the royals of the north. And through it, they were able to, well, reverse engineer its magics. And thus, we were able to create new armors, free of the hidden corruption in each one. And slowly but surely, our brotherhood has grown. Our one and only task is to push back the darkness and the evil that threaten the innocents.
So this order comes from a place that 60 years ago was overrun with magical armored knights like you. Sounds like an awful place.
It wasn't overrun. There was a small collective of them.
Well, I'm certainly glad to have you on our side, Etrin. And you aren't bound to stay at our side. I do hope you know that. We're happy to have you, but you're not obligated to stay.
Our goals simply seem to be carrying us along the same path.
It seems they will for quite a while, which suits me because I would still like to break my keyboard. Whoops. Would still very much like to study your affliction.
Well, we do have time now.
But we don't have privacy.
Why wouldn't we need privacy?
Well, this affliction of yours seems to scribe spells onto your body, yes?
Yes.
I would need to examine said body.
But why would we need privacy? As he just like takes the shirt off and just sets it down next to him. He's like, she wants a dick.
I suppose that's a start.
I mean, at least it'll allow you to pass the remaining time.
True.
If you wouldn't mind if we continued our game.
By all means. Just try to pretend I'm not here. Yeah, I guess I'm going to spend the next few hours or so studying him, his body, his curse, the spells that are transcribed on him. I am losing all sense of, personal space at this point, because I want to not hold back in my study of this.
Okay. And how are you going about studying these runic markings on his flesh?
I suppose I am going to examine the ones that are evident on him, trying to sketch them in a way and do comparisons of this sort of enchanted spell effect on him versus what I know about enchanted magical effects on equipment. I'm going to pull out that book that I have on the creation of ion stones and kind of compare notes between that book and my own knowledge of the arcane and what I'm seeing here. Just kind of general arcane knowledge at this particular point in time.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an Arcana check.
That is going to be a 23.
Awesome. Okay. So with the 23, you begin to scour through every book that in your possession, sketching out these runes, trying to cross-reference them from magical inscriptions on weapons, just trying to recall anything. And you come to the conclusion that this is more like the transference of spells from a scroll onto a spell book. Though the curse seems to just take the knowledge of the spell that makes contact with his flesh and just transcribes it into there. And as you're poking and prodding and violating every sense of personal space that the self has, you can see that there is almost a sense of arcane life that lives within the confines of each one of these runic markings. And you go about this for quite some time, to the point to where he and Chantra finish their game and she excuses herself to go rest herself, leaving the two of you a little bit alone. I mean, there are others in the car.
Well, what I'm seeing here, Etrin, is quite intriguing. And I would like to see it in action, though perhaps a moving train isn't the place to do it.
You and Kunkaval.
Yes. He is quite an intriguing one.
I think he believes me a walking spellbook. He's trying to empower me by throwing spells at me randomly.
Well, you know, what I'm seeing, he may not be too far off on that assumption.
Oh, he's not. I know the entire workings of this curse. It's anytime arcane energies, divine energies come in contact with my flesh, there's a small chance that the curse will duplicate that effect.
Is this something that you are happy with, Etrin? Are you...
Happy? No,
Do you have this willingly?
I do not. This affliction was, you can say, a punishment.
Seems like a fairly severe punishment to curse someone.
Yes, well, that's what happens when you run afoul of a hag who has a bone to pick with your people.
And what did you do to upset a hag?
I was born.
I suppose I could see how that would be upsetting. No, I can't see how that would be upsetting, no.
My people, before the fall of the kingdom of Kamiraska, used to experiment on practitioners of magic of all types, hags being one of their primary focuses.
So it sounds like it was more of a retribution type of thing.
A sins of the father type thing, you could say. While I, nor any of those of my kin, had any hand in it, that long-standing hatred was all she needed. And
Now
while-
I think I can understand.
While it serves a purpose at this point in time, and there are benefits to it, there will be a time to where my body cannot contain all this arcane energy. And at that point in time, I am deadly to any and all things around me.
I see. Well, I dare say you're in a bit of luck, Etrin. I am somewhat familiar, you might say, with certain curses of hags. And, though I can't obviously do anything for you quite yet, I am confident that I may be able to undo it, should that be your desire, though I would...
There is no undoing it. There is only one who can undo it, and that is the one who cast it on me, and she is long dead.
Are you sure about that?
I saw the body destroyed. The initial theory was if we killed her, the curse would be lifted from my body. Unfortunately, that was the incorrect thought.
Well, hope may not necessarily be lost. Don't suppose you know if this hag had any daughters?
I'm not one that keeps track of hag or fae bloodlines. I've just accepted my fate and have decided to make the best of my time before, well, I turn into an arcane bomb.
Well, you may have accepted it, but I certainly have not. At the very least, I think there's a lot to learn here, and a hag's curse is a very malleable thing at times. If it can't be removed, perhaps it can at least be changed. Something for us to work on, I think.
You're welcome to try, but it comes with a warning. Every other arcane practitioner I have gone to have this removed has winded up dead. The side effect from the curse.
Well, just between you and I, and she like leans in real close so she can whisper with hopefully just him hearing. I was trained by a hag, so I maybe know a thing or two that the other practitioners don't.
Try as you might. Just know that failure comes with a great cost.
I would be surprised if it didn't.
Hooray!
We have a walking bomb with us, yay!
So much fun.
I like bombs.
Don't worry about it.
Some something living bomb from Dragon Age.
Yeah.
Esthea would be taking freaking notes.
Mm-hmm.
You kidding? Esthea would just start pumping blood magic into him until he had too much.
I wonder what his limit is. Let's go.
Let's find out.
I know what his limit is.
Why?
Because it's fun.
I mean, fair point.
So while Mia's over there examining Hot Boy, what are the rest of you doing? If anything.
Eating something out of the thermos. A breakfast soup of some sort.
All right.
Trying not to kill myself. I mean, try not to throw a gecko outside.
You don't see Kunkabal.
He's always behind you.
He's always behind me. I'm looking at like every time I turn, he's always moving behind me. You just hear very whispered stuff. That's all you hear. Like, what the hell? I hear flapping.
It's probably stuck to the outside of the train like he was on the other one.
Probably. Let me in. No one hears him. But no, just I don't know, probably go chill with Mr. Blue if he's not sleeping or anything.
He's sleeping.
Okay. I'll just-
Lisa's manning the controls right now for the train. Blue's sort of sleeping in the same car.
You know, I'll go find Lisa.
Okay. And you walk into the engine car, and it's a bit cramped in there, but you see Blue up on a hammock, sort of just like swaying as he's sleeping, and Lisa just sitting in a chair, like pulling and releasing valves, making sure that nothing overheats and the engine doesn't explode.
Is there a door as I walk in, or is it like a slide, or?
It's like a sliding door.
Alright, I'll just go in and close it and be like, "Hello, Lisa."
Alistair, how are our friends doing?
Well, everyone's got some rest. Everyone seems to be, I guess, nervous with the decisions that they've made. But
Not an easy decision.
no, it's not. Definitely not an easy
What?
decision.
One day you're helping out a town slay a few monsters, and now that you're being asked to join a revolution and storm the capital of a holy order. It's a lot to take in.
Yeah, it was for me.
It was definitely for me. So what's on your mind?
From what you can see, what do you think of this group so far?
Interesting. Definitely a motley crew you have, but
I mean, it wasn't my first option, but
I don't think it was your. I don't think you had options.
no, I really don't.
Though they all seem to have their heads in the right places. Mia seems to be a bit paranoid, but I can't blame her.
Well, yeah, pretty much. She's been hiding ever since.
I think that Nolani may give us trouble. Not trouble to where we're gonna have to make her disappear, but she's gonna be the hardest to convince.
Pretty much. She's very headstrong, and usually her and Kemek are always together.
And what of this Azure Claw? He seems a
You
bit
know-
out of place.
You know, I would just say just a bird, but I'm pretty sure that Azure Claw has the reasons.
It seems as if he has other concerns on his mind.
I could go talk to him.
It's nothing to press on. Just an observation. Out of your opinion, are there any that we need to keep an eye out or keep an eye on?
Besides Nalani being headstrong, Yuriko is the only one that I've seen that just kind of drift off from everyone else, doing their own thing. I don't know if it's a concern, but just something to kind of watch.
That just sounds like she may be a bit of a loner. I wouldn't worry too much about that. I mean, what I'm getting at is, do you feel any of them, given the opportunity, would jump to betray us?
You know, in this day and age, anyone can betray anyone, but with this group, I don't know, to be honest. Pretty much taking a gamble while we're all doing this.
Oh, this gamble is about to get a lot more dangerous. We're moving ahead months before we are completely prepared. We were supposed to wait until the winter was over before making this attempt, but that tower's pushed our hand.
How did this tower push our hand anyway?
It released a massive wave of dark energy across Odag. We've been seeing more and more reports of the undead rising, demons gaining access to the plains, abominations wandering about night and day, and whispers of a cult rising up in a couple of the cities.
Interesting. So I'm guessing they just want to try to snuff it out before it gets way too crazy.
I think it's interfered with the Morning Lord's plans.
Hmm.
He was set to announce a big campaign in the next couple days, and then, well, this happened.
And how's our wonderful organization going to take care of this tower?
We have no plans to hit the tower at the moment. The tower is the least of our concerns.
So pretty much take care of the queen, and while we let this tower take care of its own devices.
One catastrophic issue at a time. We secure Andariel, and then we worry about this tower.
Once we get the queen, how are we going to? Are we just gonna let her parents pretty much hide somewhere else while we take care of Morning Glory, or like are they gonna try to come back in power?
The
What's the deal
plan
here?
the plan is to grab the queen and escape by ship, sail around the outside of Odag, make landing at Fate's Harbor, and then make our way back to Hampstead.
All right.
Afterwards, the next phase of our plan will go into action.
Well, let's just hope that everything comes together.
Let us hope. I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be risky.
When has it never been risky?
The odds are not in our favor. But we can't storm the city with a large army. This has to be a small person operation. There's no guarantee anyone's going to be coming back. There is a very high probability we will all die in this attempt. From what our spy masters tell us, it's about in the 75% range. That's we'll lose about 50% of our force.
Big gamble.
A very big gamble, but a needed gamble.
Well, all right then. Well, I'm with you every step of the way.
Now let's hope your friends are too.
Let's hope, but something tells me that we'll be able to make it through this.
Let's hope. As well-trained fighters as we are, I don't think the two of us can storm a capital.
No, I can't take on an army. Not yet.
Nor can I. Though, I guess here's to career suicide.
Yep.
So, I will miss the house. But,
I won't.
well, you never liked being in the city.
I hated it.
I guess that's the bonus of being one in charge, is I don't have to deal with the paperwork.
Got a point there. Some things we don't have to deal with, others we have to deal with paperwork.
You should probably get everyone ready. We'll be in Hampstead soon.
Alright, I'll gather other one. And I'll just do just that.
Okay.
At some point in all of this, Lonnie has started pacing. Just restless pacing.
Etrin's kind of like watching you like constantly walk back and forth by him and Mia. Is there something wrong?
Don't like being in one place very long. This is a very small cart.
The quarters are indeed cramped, but are you sure you're okay?
Just makes me restless.
If it helps, I'm pretty confident that this one won't explode like the last one.
Hadn't really thought about that for very long.
Oh,
Last
sorry.
one was attacked.
Yeah. Can't imagine
Did
there's a
not ex-
lot of room for
Did not
attacking.
explode of its own accord. As I'm now looking out the window to see if there's crystals attached to the outside of the train.
Nope, there's no crystals attached to the outside of the train.
It's a really good thing. We don't need that kind of nonsense.
Though as you look outside, you can see numerous things like crawling along the walls.
Ugh.
These pale white like creatures. Bodies like giving off like a soft gray glow.
Look at Mia. What are those?
Valid question. Do I recognize what they are?
Go ahead and give me a. Go ahead and give me a Arcana check.
What about Yuriko? Does Yuriko
That's-
recognize them?
A 1 on the die for a total of 10.
It's still a natural one. You can't like it's moving way too fast for you to get a glimpse of them. Anyone else looking out the window at the moment can give me an Arcana roll.
No.
You can make it with advantage, Nolani.
Really? Okay. Let's see.
Straight 12.
I'm muted.
I rolled an 8 both times for a total of 10.
Just Nalani gets advantage.
Yep.
Which seems fair, given the fact her knowledge of magic is very limited.
13.
A 13. So 13. What'd you
10.
get? 10. What'd you get, Mia?
10.
10. Ashikar, are you rolling?
Yeah, out of curiosity. No. And that was a
Arcana.
Arcana? No, that's an 8.
Yuriko. They look to be some sort of almost bioluminescent ghoul.
Now I'm even more disturbed because I thought those were the white spider dudes.
Nope. They're not the white spider dudes.
So she like she's just going through the back of her head and she's just like undead, like she's gonna say this out loud in common. She's just gonna be like, undead don't glow. And she just, and as we're passing by them, she's just like pressing her face against the glass, trying to get a good look at them, and she's just like,
And as you press your face on the glass, you see they're like all over the tunnel wall.
That's fucked.
yeah, she's like, she's like, is Blue or the Inquisitor anywhere within like earshot? Because like this is their tunnel, and
You've kind of settled on the idea that they're on the other car, and you did see Alistair get up and go into that car.
okay, so she's gonna get up and just go into like the front car, because she's like really concerned.
And it's even more cramped in there now, as there's you, Alistair, Lisa, and then Blue sleeping on the cot. And
Why are there glowing ghouls in the tunnel?
Oh, the Shade Walkers.
Do you know what those are?
Oh, indeed, yes, they're security.
You have an army of glowing undead.
Technically not an army, just something that's taken roost down here. But they stay away from the train for whatever reason. Though we keep them down here, so if anything tries to wander down the tracks, it's less than likely they're going to make it to us.
And she just turns around and leaves and starts cursing in Infernal.
Lisa looks back, she's like, language, please.
She's just like she just starts saying even like raunchier infernal curses. She's just
She kind of looks back to Alice. She's like, "Girl's got a mouth on her."
Yeah, she does. You should see Kamek.
and she just sits back in her seat, and she's just like just shaking her head. She's just like she's I don't want to say she's distressed, but she's very concerned. That's the look that's blatantly on her face.
And there's a point of time as you're looking out the window, you it looks like you pass through something as like the windows are just traced in brown for a moment, and you come out on the other side of a tunnel as the train begins slowing down, and you don't see any of the shade walkers on the wall anymore.
If we're slowing down, we must be nearing our destination, right?
We can only hope.
Blue comes back, is like rubbing the sleep out of his eyes. Get your stuff. We're here.
Should we be prepared for anything in particular?
Oh, this is actual yawn.
That role
Contagious.
I don't think you have to prepare for anything. The town is just that, a town. Just sealed off from the outside.
Fair enough, I guess.
And the train slowly comes to a stop as you hear the sounds of steam being released from vents on the outside. Lisa walking back into the room and collecting her own things. Well, that was thankfully a smooth ride. Are you all okay?
We're a little well, I'm a little nervous anyway.
Nervous? Why?
Well, kind of at this whole situation. Being in a secret private train with an inquisitor going to a closed off town plotting the fall of the theocracy of Odag. I think being a little nervous is proper.
Blue kind of shrugs as he opens the door of the car. I don't know. To me it sounds like a romantic bard's tale. Puts the fedora back onto his head and begins walking out into again another one of those underground almost subway tunnels.
I will follow suit, I guess, after making sure that Etrin and
Chantra.
Chantra have all their stuff together.
Yeah. So I know it's early, but I think we are going to end here for now, simply because of what is coming up next. I would like to have the entire table here.
It's fair.
As you are going to be introduced to a new town and new individuals and everything, so I would like to have everyone here if possible. So that will do it for us tonight, everyone. I know it's we ended about 40 minutes early, almost an hour, I think. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and call it for tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. On this upcoming Saturday, It's up in the air if we will have Withered Wastes. It all just depends on schedules. But if it does happen, we will be here at noon Pacific time for another episode of Withered Wastes. And I believe after that, we are going to be later that night, we're going to be having another episode of Behold Lore. And then we'll come back here on Monday with another episode of Mass Effect. And then back here on Tuesday with another episode of Destiny Forged, and back on Saturday for another episode of Wayward Wanderers. But for now, we're going to head on out, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, and we will catch you later.